Hey, before we start, let me ask you something. Have you ever talked to a woman who seemed into you? Her eyes lit up, the energy felt good, she laughed at your jokes, leaned in when you spoke, and then suddenly, like someone flipped a switch, she became cold, distant, and impossible to read. Maybe she stopped texting back as quickly. Maybe her responses got shorter, less playful. Maybe she started making excuses about being busy. Or maybe she just vanished completely, leaving you confused, wondering what you did wrong. If yes, then you're about to understand exactly why that happens. Because today, I'm going to reveal 7 mistakes that make women lose interest instantly. And trust me, they're not the mistakes you think men make. They're not about your looks, your money, or your status. They're the invisible ones, the ones that operate on the psychological level where attraction is born, or quietly dies. These are the silent killers of desire, the behaviors that happen beneath conscious awareness, the patterns that feel right in the moment but destroy chemistry over time. Stay with me till the end, because the last mistake is the one even mature, successful, emotionally intelligent men unknowingly make. And it's probably the most devastating one of all. Let's begin. Before we dive deeper, a quick message. If you've been learning from my videos and you want to support this work, you can subscribe to me on Facebook with a paid membership, send stars, or join my YouTube channel's paid community. Your support helps me create more powerful content for you, and I truly appreciate every bit of it. All right, now let's continue. 1. Over-explaining yourself. The silent interest killer. Women lose interest fast when a man feels the need to constantly justify everything he does. Every little delay, he explains. Every decision, he explains. Every boundary he sets, he over-explains. Again, and again, and again. Sorry I didn't text back right away. I was just finishing up some work and then I had to grab groceries and my phone died and... What she hears is, I need your approval for who I am. Most men don't realize this, but attraction thrives on certainty, not validation seeking. When you explain too much, you're basically broadcasting one thing. I'm afraid you'll get upset with me. I'm afraid you'll judge me. I'm afraid you'll think less of me if I don't justify myself. That energy kills desire instantly. Because here's what women understand on an instinctive level. A man who constantly explains himself is a man who doesn't trust his own choices. He's seeking external validation instead of standing firmly in his own reality. And women are attracted to men who occupy their space with confidence. Not arrogance, not stubbornness, but quiet, unshakable self-trust. When you over-explain, you signal insecurity. You signal that you believe you need permission to exist as you are. And that's the opposite of attractive. A simple, I was busy, carries more weight than a paragraph of justification. A calm, I'll reach out when I'm free, is more powerful than desperate scheduling gymnastics. Certainty is magnetic. Over-explanation is repellent. If you think this doesn't apply to you, wait till mistake number 3. It's even worse, and almost every guy does it unconsciously. Even the ones who think they're emotionally secure. 2. Being too available too fast. You think you're showing interest, she thinks you're showing desperation. Let me be clear. Women don't lose interest because you're kind or responsive. They lose interest because your availability feels like it came from a man who has nothing else going on. When you text back instantly every single time, when you rearrange your entire schedule at a moment's notice, when you're always free, always ready, always waiting, you're not building connection, you're building doubt. Because she's thinking, doesn't he have friends, projects, hobbies, goals, responsibilities? Is his life really so empty that I'm the only thing filling it? A man she respects has priorities, commitments, responsibilities, passion, structure, a world that existed before she entered it and will continue after. Women crave a man whose time means something. When you give it too quickly, too freely, with no friction or value, you're not bonding with her. You're teaching her to take you for granted. This doesn't mean playing games. It doesn't mean ignoring her or being purposefully distant. It means having a life so full, so compelling, so rich with purpose that your attention becomes valuable because it's limited. Scarcity creates value. Abundance creates indifference. And when a woman realizes she can always have your attention, she stops wanting it. But here's where it gets worse. The next mistake turns too available into completely unattractive. And it's something most men do thinking they're building intimacy. Emotional overdumping. I'm going to say something harsh, but necessary. A woman wants to feel safe with your emotions. She doesn't want to carry them. When a man vents everything, his insecurities, his stress, his fears, his past hurts, his childhood trauma, his career anxieties, and does it too soon, too intensely, without any filter, she doesn't think, "Aw, he trusts me." She thinks, he needs emotional mothering, not a relationship. And once a woman slips into that mothering mode, the romantic attraction dies instantly, completely, often irreversibly. Here's why. Women are attracted to emotional strength, not emotional suppression, that's different, but strength, stability, groundedness. They want a man who has emotions but isn't controlled by them. A man who can be vulnerable in measured, appropriate doses, not someone who uses her as an unpaid therapist from date 2. When you dump your emotional baggage too early, you're essentially saying, I need you to fix me. I need you to validate me. I need you to be my emotional support system. And that's not a romantic dynamic. That's a caretaking dynamic. She might stay for a while out of compassion, but she won't stay out of desire. Real vulnerability is powerful when it's shared from a place of strength, when it's strategic, intentional, and mutual. But trauma dumping? That's just outsourcing your healing. And women can feel the difference immediately. Before you say, but I thought women like vulnerability. Wait for mistake number 5, because it exposes the truth behind that myth. And why so many men get this catastrophically wrong. 4. Trying too hard to impress her. Women can smell effort that comes from insecurity. The bragging, the I'm different from other guys speeches, the name dropping, the exaggerated stories about your accomplishments, the constant need to show value instead of being valuable. All of it screams one thing. I don't think I'm enough, so I need to convince you I am. Real attraction comes from calibration, not performance. When a man tries to impress, she thinks, why is he trying so hard? What's he hiding? What does he lack? If he were actually impressive, wouldn't it just show naturally? Here's the paradox. The more you try to prove your worth, the less worthy you appear. The more you perform, the less authentic you seem. The more you sell yourself, the less she buys it. Because impressive men don't need to tell you they're impressive. Their presence, their calm, their choices, their energy, it all speaks for itself. When you lead with effort instead of essence, you create a subtle imbalance in the dynamic. She starts questioning, doubting, pulling back. And once she senses that imbalance, she slowly backs away, even if she originally liked you. Attraction is built on ease, not effort. On authenticity, not performance. On being, not proving. But the next mistake is the most dangerous one, because it makes her lose not just interest, but respect. And once respect is gone, attraction is impossible to rebuild. 5. Letting her set all the pace. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Women love men who take initiative. Not forcefully, not aggressively, not domineeringly, but calmly, confidently, and without hesitation. When you wait for her to always start conversations, build the connection, decide when to meet, choose where to go, set the tone, set the energy, make the first move, you've already lost. Because what you think is being respectful, she experiences as being passive. What you think is giving her space, she feels as lack of interest. What you think is being a gentleman, she interprets as being unsure of yourself. Women lose interest the moment they feel like they're leading you. Because deep down, on a level that bypasses logic and political correctness, they want a man whose energy naturally guides the interaction, not controls it, not dominates it, but leads it with intention and clarity. A man who takes initiative is a man who knows what he wants. A man who waits for permission is a man who's afraid to claim it. And fear is the opposite of attraction. This doesn't mean being pushy or ignoring her boundaries. It means being decisive, clear, intentional. It means creating moments instead of waiting for them. It means having a plan instead of asking, what do you want to do? Women are attracted to direction, to certainty, to men who move through the world with purpose. A man who waits gets left behind. And if you think this is unfair, the next mistake will hit even harder. Because it's about something most men do thinking they're being good guys. 6. Apologizing just to keep the peace. Women don't lose interest when you apologize for something real. They lose interest when you apologize for things you didn't even do. When you say sorry just because you're afraid she'll pull away, just to smooth over tension, just to avoid conflict, just to keep her happy, you instantly lower your worth in her eyes. A man who apologizes to avoid conflict is a man who fears losing her. And paradoxically, that fear makes her lose him first. Here's what happens psychologically. Every unnecessary apology trains her to see you as someone without boundaries. Someone who will bend and fold and compromise his reality just to keep her around. And while that might sound romantic, it's actually deeply unattractive. Because women don't want a man who agrees with everything. They want a man who stands for something. A man with boundaries is attractive. A man who collapses to avoid tension is forgettable. This doesn't mean being stubborn or refusing to apologize when you're actually wrong. It means having the strength to hold your ground when you're not. It means being able to say, I understand you're upset, but I'm not apologizing for that. I hear you, but I don't agree. I respect your perspective, and I'm still doing this differently. That kind of calm, firm presence, that's what keeps attraction alive. The final mistake is the most common one, and the most brutally honest. Every man needs to hear this, because it's the one that destroys more relationships than all the others combined. 7. Lacking a life outside of her. This is the ultimate attraction destroyer. If she becomes your motivation, your happiness, your routine, your main plan, your emotional anchor, your entire world, she will lose interest faster than you can imagine. Women want to join a man's life, not become his life. When your ambitions shrink, your friendships fade, your hobbies disappear, your world contracts, and she becomes the center of your universe, she doesn't feel flattered. She feels trapped, responsible, and emotionally suffocated. And once a woman connects you with suffocation, attraction dies, completely, often permanently. Here's why this is so devastating. When you met her, you had a life. You had passions, goals, friends, interests. You had a world that was compelling and attractive. That's part of what drew her to you. But then, you made her the focus of everything. You stopped investing in yourself. You stopped growing. You stopped being the man she was originally attracted to. And she notices. She notices when you cancel plans with friends to see her. She notices when you abandon your hobbies to spend more time together. She notices when your conversations become entirely about the relationship. And slowly, quietly, she starts to lose respect. Because the man she was attracted to had a life worth joining. The man you became only has her. And that's suffocating. Women are attracted to expansion, not contraction. To growth, not stagnation. To men who are building something bigger than just a relationship. Your relationship should enhance your life, not become it. If you avoid these 7 mistakes, you don't just keep a woman's interest. You naturally create an energy she can't pull away from. Because real attraction isn't about trying harder. It's about understanding deeper. It's about being the kind of man who trusts himself without needing to explain. Values his time because his life has meaning. Shares emotions from strength, not desperation. Exists authentically instead of performing. Leads with calm confidence. Holds boundaries without apology. Maintains a rich, compelling life she wants to be part of. That man, he doesn't chase attraction. He creates it naturally. And if you're still here with me, then you're exactly the kind of man who deserves real connection. Not confusion, mixed signals, and sudden distance. So before you go, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And definitely check out the other videos on this channel. They're packed with truth, psychology, and the raw insights most men never get to hear. Your transformation starts there. I'll see you in the next one.